Walk down the soup aisle of any grocery store and you're hit with an overwhelming wave of options. Chicken noodle, creamy tomato, New England clam chowder, minestrone, cheddar broccoli, tortilla soup, every flavor, every brand, every budget. From name-brand giants to store-label bargains, canned soups have become a pantry staple for millions. They're convenient, they're cheap, they last forever. But what exactly is inside those cans? What ingredients are you actually eating when you pop one open, heat it up, and call it dinner? Also, guys, we will have a little surprise at the end of the video, so do check that out. The truth is, many grocery store soups are packed with far more than vegetables, meat, or broth. Hidden beneath those comforting labels are additives, preservatives, thickeners, and flavor enhancers that transform what should be simple nourishment into a highly processed product. And while these ingredients help soup companies boost shelf life and reduce costs, they often come at the expense of your health. Let's start with the first and most notorious culprit: sodium. Most store-bought soups are loaded with salt, often more than half your daily recommended intake in just one serving. That means if you eat the whole can, as many people do, you could be consuming nearly double the safe limit in one meal. Salt isn't just there for taste. It's used as a preservative and a flavor amplifier, especially in low-cost soups that rely on salt to cover up blandness. But high sodium intake is linked to elevated blood pressure, heart disease, kidney problems, and even stroke. And yet, most consumers never bother to check the label. Next comes MSG, monosodium glutamate, a flavor enhancer that's often used to give soups that umami depth without using expensive ingredients like real beef stock or fresh vegetables. While the FDA considers MSG safe in small amounts, it's been linked to headaches, nausea, and other sensitivity reactions in certain individuals. Even more concerning is how often it's not clearly labeled. Companies use sneaky aliases like yeast extract, hydrolyzed protein, or natural flavoring to mask its presence. Then there are the thickeners: modified food starch, gar gum, xanthan gum, and carrageenan. These additives help create that creamy texture or hearty consistency without using cream or slow-cooked reductions. The problem? Some of these thickeners can cause digestive issues, bloating, gas, or even inflammation, especially in people with sensitive stomachs or IBS. Carrageenan, in particular, has been controversial, with animal studies suggesting it may contribute to gut irritation and immune responses. You might also notice added sugars hiding in unexpected places. Yes, sugar in soup. Tomato-based soups are particularly guilty. A can of creamy tomato might contain the same amount of sugar as a cookie or granola bar. Why? Because sugar balances acidity and enhances flavor, especially when companies cut back on more expensive ingredients like real tomatoes or basil. Preservatives are another issue. Ingredients like sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, and EDTA, ethylene tetracetic acid, are added to extend shelf life. While these are generally recognized as safe in small amounts, the cumulative effect of eating multiple processed foods every day can increase your chemical exposure. And for people with allergies or sensitivities, even trace amounts can cause problems. Let's not forget the quality of the core ingredients themselves. The vegetables in canned soups are often overcooked, mushy, and stripped of most of their nutrients during processing. The meat, when included, is usually mechanically separated, low-grade cuts filled with connective tissue rather than lean protein. Many soups use dehydrated or powdered components to save cost, leading to a taste and texture that's more artificial than fresh. Even the packaging can be problematic. Many soup cans are lined with BPA, bisphenol A, a chemical used in plastics that can leach into food, especially when heated. BPA has been linked to hormone disruption, fertility problems, and even increased risk of cancer. Some brands now use BPA-free linings, but not all, and unless it's clearly labeled, you're left guessing. Now consider the serving sizes. A can of soup might claim to contain 2 servings, but who eats half a can of soup? Most people consume the whole thing, unknowingly doubling their intake of sodium, sugar, fat, and preservatives. It's a labeling trick that makes the nutrition facts look better than they really are. You might think, okay, maybe the cheaper brands cut corners, but what about the premium ones? Surely the higher-end organic soups are better? Sometimes, but not always. While organic labels may reduce your exposure to pesticides or artificial additives, they often still rely heavily on salt and sugar for flavor. And they can be just as high in calories, especially the creamy varieties. Plus, you're paying a premium for what is still, in many cases, a processed, shelf-stable product. So, if grocery store soups come with all these hidden downsides, what's the alternative? What can you eat instead that's healthy, nourishing, and still convenient? The good news is, you don't have to give up soup. In fact, soup can be one of the healthiest meals out there, when made right. All it takes is a shift from processed, store-bought cans to homemade or minimally processed options. And with just a few tweaks, you can create soups that are not only more nutritious, but also far more flavorful. Start with the base, homemade broth. Making your own vegetable or bone broth is surprisingly simple. Toss vegetable scraps, herbs, and bones into a pot, cover with water, and simmer for a few hours. You'll end up with a rich, flavorful base that's full of vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, with no added sodium, preservatives, or chemicals. Next, load up on fresh vegetables. Think onions, carrots, celery, zucchini, kale, spinach, tomatoes, bell peppers. The more variety, the better. Fresh vegetables retain their nutrients, provide fiber, and create a natural sweetness and complexity that store-bought soups can't replicate. Chop them up, sauté them briefly in olive oil for added richness, then add your broth and simmer. When it comes to protein, go clean and lean. Use shredded chicken breast, grass-fed beef, lentils, beans, or tofu. Avoid processed meats like sausage or bacon, which are often high in salt and nitrates. You control the quantity and quality, ensuring your soup satisfies without sabotaging your health. Want creaminess without the cream? Try blending a portion of the soup. Pureed sweet potatoes, butternut squash, or even white beans can give you a thick, velvety texture without added dairy or thickeners. Coconut milk is another great alternative, especially for Thai-inspired soups or curries. Spice it up with herbs and spices instead of salt. Garlic, ginger, turmeric, cumin, basil, oregano, thyme, paprika, chili flakes. These add depth and aroma, transforming a simple broth into something gourmet. Use lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to add brightness. A splash of tamari or miso can add umami without relying on MSG. Don't forget whole grains. Add brown rice, barley, quinoa, or farro for a fiber-rich boost. These grains absorb flavor beautifully and make your soup heartier and more filling. Plus, they help stabilize blood sugar and support gut health. And the best part? You can make a big batch and freeze leftovers. Homemade soup freezes incredibly well. Store it in glass containers or BPA-free freezer bags, label the date, and you've got ready-to-go meals for weeks, without the preservatives or plastic liners. Now, if you're short on time and still want something quick, there are a few healthy store-bought soup options, but you'll need to read labels carefully. Look for brands that are low in sodium, ideally under 400 milligrams per serving, free from artificial additives, and made with whole food ingredients you recognize. Prioritize those that use organic vegetables, clean proteins, and BPA-free packaging. Refrigerated soup brands are often a better bet than canned. These typically contain fresher ingredients and fewer preservatives since they aren't shelf-stable for years. They cost a bit more, but can be worth it for quality and flavor. You can also hack a store-bought soup to make it healthier. Start with a low-sodium vegetable or chicken broth, then add your own sautéed onions, garlic, and vegetables. Toss in some beans or lentils, fresh herbs, and a dash of vinegar or spice. You'll stretch a basic soup into a nutrient-packed meal without starting from scratch. At the end of the day, soup should be one of the easiest, most nourishing foods we eat. It's supposed to be warm, healing, and wholesome. But the way it's sold in most grocery stores, canned, processed, artificially flavored, has drifted far from that ideal. We're told that convenience comes at a cost, but in this case, the cost isn't just money, it's health, hidden salt, added sugar, chemical preservatives, artificial thickeners, nutrient-poor ingredients, all wrapped up in cheerful labels that promise comfort but deliver compromise. It doesn't have to be this way. With a little awareness and a few simple changes, you can take back control of your soup bowl and your health. Whether you're simmering a pot from scratch, upgrading a store-bought base, or choosing a better brand from the fridge section, every step counts. And once you taste a homemade lentil stew bursting with cumin, or a creamy sweet potato soup blended with coconut and ginger, or a brothy chicken vegetable packed with real herbs, you'll never go back to the can. Because soup should be more than filler. It should be food, real food, whole food, the kind that fuels you, heals you, and actually tastes like it came from a kitchen, not a chemistry lab. We have prepared 5 soup recipes for people to download for free. You can look into the description.